Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. This is a Focus Friday video. Now, all through the month of March, we're focusing on using stencils in different ways. So every Friday we've looked at a different technique using a stencil. And today we're looking at heat embossing through a stencil. And this is the card I've made. So you can see this is a stencil, I've heat embossed through it, and then I've got just matched it with a little sentiment that I heat embossed too. So let me show you how to do this. So I'm going to start off quickly with my stamping because it's easier, and I'm going to use Versamark ink because that's what we need to use to emboss. It's a sticky ink. And the stamp set I should show you quickly is this one called Best Year, and we're going to use the sentiment that says thank you for all that you are. So I'm going to stamp on a piece of basic white, give it a really good press down. Now I can see that it's taken, you can't obviously, so let's move this out the way quickly. I'm going to bring in my embossing powder, which is copper, and I'm just going to pour that all over my just flick off the excess, and just like this. And if you see anything that you feel is in the wrong place, you can just use a small paintbrush to get rid of it. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to set that aside and then we're going to start the stenciling. Okay, so off camera I just quickly heat set the sentiment and that's how it comes out. So now I'm going to set that aside and we're going to do our stenciling. This is one of the stencils from the Many Patterns, Plenty Patterns, something patterns. The whole supply list will be on the blog post on my website, and it's also in the description box below, so do check all of that out. So I've got everything taped down here using some low tack tape, and I've masked off the area of the stencil I'm not using. So all we're going to do is use that area here of the stencil. I'm going to use, I've got it on some basic white cardstock, and I'm just going to pounce in some of this Versamark, just being gentle ink, and when I think it's covered, I'll take the stencil away and see. And do give your stencil a good wash after this, it really does need it. So let's just peel this away, and now you can't see but I can see it's taken. So bring back the embossing powder that we've used here. I'm using the same gold we used for the sentiment. Let's flick off any excess. As I said, you can use the paintbrush again just to get rid of anything that's somewhere you don't want it to be. I'm going to cut this out so it's not going to stay on such a big panel. So don't worry about that. I'm just sort of going in, as I said, with the paintbrush, and any bits that I can see that I can easily remove, I am. So that's all we've got. I don't think it looks too shabby. So let's put this embossing powder back in its little pot. Like that. Made a bit of a mess, but I've got it on me because it doesn't matter what I do with embossing powder, it does get everywhere. So I'm just going to use a cloth here and clean this up before we go any further so it doesn't get everywhere. put that to the side, and there we have our piece. So I'm going to let my heated tool heat up for about 30 seconds, and then we're just going to heat set that. Okay, so we heat set everything as you saw, and then I just cut everything down using my trimmer, and then I've matted it on here onto a piece of cinnamon cider cardstock. And now we're just going to cut this out. So I'm just going to do it freehand with a long pair of scissors. Really simple, just like that. I'm going to do the same for our sentiment. And the more times you do this like this, the easier it gets. And it's such a long pair of blades, it makes it easy, and it's so simple. So now we can start to put our card together. So we've got here a piece of basic white, and this is going to go for our insert. So let's put that down. Just like that. And then I've got a piece here of Just Jade Designer Series paper from the family stack from the ink colours. I like this Just Jade and the cinnamon side. Unfortunately, these colours are retiring, will be retiring now in the end of April. So if you like these colours and you want anything in these colours, do get it now before it's too late. You don't want to miss out and then be regretting, have craft regret. I don't want that. Craft regret is not nice. Okay, so let's put this down onto our card base. And as I said, I don't know if I said our card base is cinnamon cider. So standard A6 card base, that's an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half. And then let's put this down on the top. And I think this technique, being able to heat emboss through your stencils. You could ink. Last week we looked at, week before last we looked at inking through layering stencils, and last week we looked at putting embossing paste through your stencils. There's just so many different techniques you can do, and it's wonderful. It just makes these tools so much more useful, and they don't just sit in your stash, they get used, which is what we all want. So there we go. There are 2 cards. Sweet and simple. What do you think? I hope you like them. If you did, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know. And please don't forget to subscribe to future videos. As I said, all the information about the projects will be on the website, on the blog post. And the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.